Hello, I'm Natalie.
And I'm Yahaira.
And I'm Leslie.
We are from Western Valley Middle School, and we would like to talk to you about macroinvertebrates.
Macroinvertebrates are organisms that do not have a skeleton inside their bodies, and they are big enough to see without being magnified.
They are an important part of wetland and river ecosystem. Examples of macroinvertebrates include mayflies, stoneflies, dragonflies, and ragtail maggots. These organisms may spend all or part of their lives in water. Larvae or baby macroinvertebrates don't have wings and look a lot different than adults.
Things in the environment can stress out macroinvertebrates populations. The rainwater from crops or cities can have things in it that cause problems or some macroinvertebrates.
Sewage and fertilizers that get into water make algae grow that use up oxygens that macroinvertebrates need.
When people do things to change the land like construction or crops, it can add sediments to the water. Sediments is created naturally, but people cause it to go into the water.
Sediment destroys habitats by covering the rocky areas of the streams where macroinvertebrates live.
If trees along the side of the river are removed, or the water in the river moves faster, called velocity, it can change the water's temperature and stress out macroinvertebrates. Some organisms need it to be a certain temperature to trigger changes in their life cycle. They can also get stressed when non-native species are put into rivers.
Some macroinvertebrates such as mayfly, stonefly, nymphs, and caddisfly larvae are sensitive to changes in water caused by pollution.
Some of these organisms will leave to find a better habitat. They also could die or be unable to have babies.
There are also some macroinvertebrates like rat-tailed maggots and midge larvae that can thrive in polluted conditions. They are called tolerant organisms.
Other organisms like dragonflies and damselflies, nymphs, prefer good water qualities but can survive in polluted conditions.
Water scientists take samples of macroinvertebrates populations to find out how healthy the water is over time and to figure out the effects of environment stressors.
If it's severe enough, species of intolerant macroinvertebrates may disappear altogether.
If the sample has a diversity of macroinvertebrates, the stream's conditions are good. Scientists need to collect data to make sure there are lots of food sources, enough oxygen, and good water temperature, which helps to make a river
Because
healthy.
of Arizona's Project WET program, we were able to become water scientists for a day at the Rio Salado Habitat Resort area. We should now like to share some of our data and observations.
We started out with a question that we wanted to research. Our question was, what is the temperature difference between the lake and the river, and what is the difference in the number of macroinvertebrates found in each? The water in the lake was 18 degrees Celsius. That is about 64 degrees Fahrenheit. There was a bunch of damsels, dragonflies, and at the end of the stream there was a little bit of water.
In the middle, the river gets deeper. In the river, the temperature was 17 degrees Celsius. In different parts it was 15 degrees Celsius.
We found all kinds of water bugs. There were larvae attached to the rocks in the river.
The materials we used were a macro packet glaze
Filled
glass, thermometer, a bin for holding water, magnifier, and an ice cube tray to separate the bugs.
To find our results, we identified some of the macroinvertebrates that were in the lower wetland. Where the water was moving, we found less bugs. The number of macroinvertebrates in the lower wetland was more. The water in the river was moving faster and it was colder.
From the samples we collected, we identified 3 black swimmers, 5 larva shrimp, and 2 larva worms.
By looking at the critters in the water, we can find out about the stability and health of the water.
We learned that it is important to look at the overall biodiversity, how many different kinds of species there are, and to find out how tolerant they are to temperature changes and pollution.
We especially want to thank Tara and Holly for helping us to learn more about how important water is to Arizona. We also want to thank everyone who helped us from Arizona Project Wet and Phoenix College for letting us present our findings. Thank you.